Good morning and welcome to the craft room. I'm Ellie Barnes and this morning I'm starting with a cuppa with you. I really needed to start with coffee today. I've already tried to go live once and it wouldn't go live on my page. So let's see if we've gone live properly today, right now. Hopefully we are coming. Yes, looks like we are coming through live. So that's good. At least we're live. Now, I was saying to myself, obviously, that we are going to work on the new suite, Splendid Autumn. And although it is not autumn here, and this set is designed for the American market, it certainly works for Australia. There's definitely nothing that you wouldn't use. It doesn't have anything specific for Thanksgiving or anything like that. So it's a great little set. It has a wonderful set of dies which actually create a picture frame or a purse, and we're going to create a purse today. It's going to be a little bit of an add-on to the card that they can have as a keepsake. So I'm going to pop my cuppa down and we'll get together onto the desk. We'll go down onto the desk and have a look at the suite. I did show you this the other week, about a week or so ago, when I got the unboxing done, but we'll have a quick look at it and we are going to then get started, and because this could take a little bit longer, but I hope I won't keep you too long. There's the ceiling. Oh, I know, it's terrible. I'm not like some of these other more professional people. You get to see my messy desk, but I try and keep it all as small as possible. And there you go, you've got this has been happening lately, the frame and everything gets in. Well, there's my teacup. I love teacups. If you join my team, you're known as the Teacup Stampers. Now, we've got a bit of a mess. I'll try and push everything out of the road. We've got a bit of a mess here, but some of these things we'll be using. So let's have a look. We're a bit crooked. Is that better? Yeah, that looks a bit better. Might be able to bring you down a bit, actually. And then you're more focused on my desk. This is the suite. It comes with these gorgeous papers that we did have a look at. We're actually going to use this one because I love it. Comes with some ribbon. And again, we're using every part of this today. These beautiful gems, they're called faux glass dots. Some golden material leaves, the dies, and this is the die that cuts the purse. And here we've got the stamps. And look, I'm not using a lot of stamps. Instead of going grateful for you, I've gone change can be beautiful. And I'm going to use this stamp as well, just to bring in to match one of the dies. It doesn't quite match, but it gives a feeling of leaves. So let's pop things aside and get started, because there is quite a bit of gluing with this purse, and we do need to let things dry as we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'll put these dies aside too. These are the main ones, and there is a bit of die cutting. I'm going to cut the purse out. And I'm going to we'll just cut this like so. I need to cut the clasp of the purse as well. And I need a piece, and I need a big piece, and you'll see why in a minute, to cut the chain. So we'll start with those cuts to begin with. And while we're cutting, I am going to use this paper for the purse. So I will cut these out as well. And let's get that much done. So let's bring this in. Been doing a lot of cutting lately for classes that have been coming up. Now, let's start with the purse. Let's do that first. So we're going to pop our purse here My die's a little bit bent, my platform plate. And we'll pop this one here and cut out one of the chains. We need 2 chains, but there's a trick to that, and I'll show you what that is in a minute. So we'll cut these bits out. As soon as I saw this suite, I was like, I've got to have this, because I like to make 3D things. So we have, let's get this out of here. We have the chain, and I think you can see that. I'm just going to poke these pieces out that we don't need in the chain, and there's our chain. Don't need that piece, so we'll pop him aside. Here's our clasp, and we'll pop that one aside. Now, I discovered this die does not have any points that you can poke out your cut piece. But the simplest thing to do is a little bit of drop onto the table. Didn't do it that time. And it loosens it and you can get it out. And that's the purse part. Now, you can see here it's got lovely good score lines for folding. So we'll be using those. But it also has these pieces, and one side of this die is a little bit larger than the other. So you can layer pieces up when you're using these inside pieces. And I'll show you what we'll use with all these different pieces in a minute. Now I've just thrown my paper away. Now, I'll keep this die aside because I need to cut another chain. I don't know if I'll fit it on at the same time. I'm dropping everything today. I want to get specific pieces out of this paper, and I need to get large pieces. So this one, it's a bit hard to see, but this one has a bigger frame, and so you get a smaller inside piece. This one, you get a larger piece, and I need larger pieces. So if I cut 2 pieces, one would be too small. So I have to hang the die. I don't want to hang the die over the edge, but I have to hang the paper because it's just a bit big for what I'm doing. And I need to cut out this larger piece, and I just want this bit of flower here. So it means cutting it through. Oh, and then you move it, Ellie. That's all right, that'll be fine. It means cutting it through twice, but that's okay. Now, get it started. So we've cut it through, we've got that piece. This is the piece I'm after. I don't need this piece that's in here. So I'm going to take my pick and just, because I've got an edge, I can just pull that out. You could keep that, cut these, I'll show you what you can do. You will see more of this die used, I think. So you can cut these pieces off like this. Not that I'm going to use this piece, but this is what you can do. And then you've got a lovely frame that you can sit on a card and stamp in the middle or whatever. So don't throw any of these bits out. So that just goes up there because I don't need that one. Now let's put this back. This time I'm going to cut. Again, I need the big piece, and I want this big flower here. Perhaps like that. Will I go like that? Yeah, what about like that? So we're going to take this and I've moved it again. Doesn't matter, it'll be right. And we'll just run this through. So now we've got another large piece for the other side of the purse. We'll just pop these. I'll find a use for these bits of paper, so I'm not throwing them out. Now, while we've got the die here, I need to cut another few pieces. I'm not throwing that out either. That can go over there and I'll trim that up as a frame. Now, I need a small brown piece. And while I'm at it, I need a leaf. So I will cut that leaf. I actually need two. You can see I've already done one earlier, so that we're not sitting here all day with the cut and emboss machine. So let's cut out. This is a, what do they call it? Espresso. I can't remember its name. Espresso. Something espresso, isn't it? Can anyone remember? I will in a minute. Early espresso. It's early today for me. So we've got this piece here, second leaf, because I've cut one out before, so that we weren't running that through too many times. So there's my second leaf over here. And I have a second clasp, so I can get rid of that piece of cardstock and put him over there. We also need to cut out, says she, looking for her bits. I have this. Now, if I cut this chain out this way, I discovered that the links don't match up because the links all go one way. So the only way, because I wanted to put it on the back here, is I need to cut it out reverse. And that's what I discovered I had to do so that it would match up. So that one's going there. I need to cut out a second one of these. And I will use this piece. I think then I've done most of my cutting. We might then get on to putting a few bits and pieces together. Oh, again, I've got a frame in here. That will be useful for a card somewhere. So let's cut these two pieces out and I'll show you how we put the chain and things together. We'll start putting this purse together. Each step I found had to dry because I'm using multi-purpose glue. I was going to use my fine tip glue, but I discovered it's got clagged up. So don't need that piece now. Put these in here. Get rid of all our bits of paper that I've cut out of the road, the scissors out of the road, and there's our chain. Now it's gold on this side, and it's not as nice as if I'd cut it the right way. So I'll show you a couple of things I'm going to do to fix that. It won't be perfect because it is the back of the chain, but I just rolled it a couple of times to flatten any edges, and I rolled it on this side too to help bring it flat and forward. And we'll poke these bits out. It's not perfect, but it's when you compare the two, and I'll show you, but it works better than if it wasn't gold. So I'll get rid of all those little bits. And I'll use this white piece of paper again. So there's our chain back and front, and they will match up now perfectly. So I'll show you how I've done some of these smaller pieces, not having my fine tip glue. And for those that don't have fine tip glue, or not sure what I'm talking about, this is our fine tip glue and I love it. But when you take the pin, it's got a pin in here that you have to, when you put it on, it goes down into the tip where the glue comes out so it doesn't clog up. And I can't see what I'm doing. Just go in there, believe me. Mine's all got clunked up. I've got to look over my glasses so I can see. No, see, I managed to get it in before, but unfortunately my daughter put it away and it didn't have it in properly, and it was down the side. So that's all clogged up. I'll have to get a new one. I can use the glue because I can save this glue and put a new tip on it when I get a new one in. But in the meantime, I've got two very fine pieces that I need to glue together. So what I did was I got my little paintbrush, because I didn't want too much glue everywhere, and I did get all stuck up trying to work out what to do. And I just put a little bit of glue, a bit like a kid does, but don't put too much. And then I put this one on top, and because it's the multi-purpose glue, we have some wiggle room, which is good, because I want to get that perfectly matched up. And then we have a gold chain. Now, I found that needed to dry. While these are drying, I actually put some weight on them. I need a little bit more. And then these two get stuck together. But these two are both the right way around, so you'll see that this is nice and bright, and if I can get them together. This is a fiddly job. I am not going to say it isn't. It is a fiddly job making this purse. And it took a bit of working out. My fingers are getting a bit sticky. Now that's exactly how it should be, all lined up. So I've got my big blocks. I'm just going to flatten them for a minute. I'm going to clean up this mess. And I'm cleaning up my brush because I don't want it to get all glued up. So there you go. That's the easiest way if you haven't got fine tip glue, and a lot of people may not have fine tip glue. And we're going to do similar things as we put this together. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to work out the front and the back and how to fold it. And I'll just dry my tray, my glass mat. The easiest is you're folding on these score lines, and it just pushes very gently and it folds up, and these fold exactly over that way. Now I went over with the bone folder so that I could get really solid lines, and I actually did these without that end so that they were quite flat, because that's what holds the purse shut. But there was something I discovered, and I ended up having lots of white showing. So just to avoid that, I got my blend pen in Cajun Craze, because I'm going to use Cajun Craze, as you will see. And I just coloured around so that if anything showed, it wasn't going to be white, because the white did stand out. Now, if you're using coloured cardstock, which I could have done, but I wanted it gold, you wouldn't have to do this step. I haven't tried doing this with designer series paper, because I think it'd be a bit thin to hold it all together. Because the frame does a fair bit of work, when you'll see as we go. So that was my little hint. Oh, I've got a bit of white still on that side. Just so that if anything does show, there is a couple of things I'm going to do so that it won't be a big problem, but it is a problem if it shows. Now, these have a little a stitch line around them, and we're going to glue it onto the front side of the purse, which is the smaller frame. So that will glue, and this frame will just go around the stitch line. So I've only got a very narrow room around the stitch line. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue. And I did find baby wipes were necessary all through this project, because my fingers ended up getting stickier and stickier. But we'll just put a little bit right around the very edge, between the stitch line and the edge. Anything that does go on further in, we can wipe off. And then we're just going to get that into position. And it's a bit, you just have to adjust it a bit so that the stitch line it's basically just inside. And I found best to just give a dab in case there was any glue. The good thing about using the foil is you can wipe the glue off, so you just don't get too much wetness on your designer series paper. Now, there is a problem when it comes to putting something on this side, because they all fit right through. So I was really quite curious how I was going to get this done. What I ended up doing, and I'll use a piece of this because we've got plenty. No, we haven't. Dear me, I have another piece? Oh yes, we have plenty, but I can use this piece anyhow, which is a much better idea. I drew around. No, it wasn't that I drew around. That's because that won't fit. This piece of frame, we're going to just cut these bits off. So we have just the frame. And you want to get them right down. And then I use that as a template. Now this piece of cardstock really isn't going to show. See, I could use white, but I chose to use Cajun Craze because I'm actually going to line the inside of the purse with Cajun Craze, which you'll see. So I've drawn right around that, and I'm going to cut inside that line by 1 millimetre or so. Might even be a 0.5 millimetre. But I want it to be a little bit smaller. And I'm not worried if it's not perfect because no one's going to see it, but I may have to trim because I don't want it to show on the edges. Sometimes I do it in pen or something darker because of the colour of the cardstock, which I should have done with this one because it's a bit hard to see the line. But you won't see any pencil marks because I'm cutting them off. Not that you'll see this piece of cardstock, as I said. But this was the only way I could come up with how to do it. So then I placed it on here and I checked, like, my cutting isn't perfect. I need to cut a little bit off this side, a little bit more. We'll just go round. And that should now fit. And it does. So we're going to now put some glue around the edges here. And because I'm going to use or cover up both sides of this piece of cardstock, I'm not too fussed if I get glue on the inside or too far in. So let's pop this one on. And we're going to leave that side like that. Now you can see I've got a fair bit of glue there. So let's wipe this again because I don't want to make a mess. And I am going to take this piece and put it there. Now, I've made this piece up that way, but if I put that this way, it'll be upside down. So I have to turn it and put it this way. And you can see the glue sort of sitting up a bit, but that's all right. It'll all settle down. I'm going to put weight on it. And there's a little bit of Cajun Craze on my gold. I didn't realise that. Now, get into the right spot. Doesn't matter. This is the back. So, there we go. Now, I want that now to flatten, so I'll take these pieces out and pop them over here. Clean up the mess, and I want this to flatten. Now, because it's so big, I'll go that way. Get rid of the scrap bits, keep my template, and while that's drying, we can start on the card base. Maybe a sip of coffee first. How's your coffee going? Now, I've been concentrating, so I haven't been looking for comments, so I hope you haven't been sending me heaps of comments and I haven't answered them. So my card base is going to be Cajun Craze. And I'm not going to fuss too much with it, it's going to be a basic card, because we've got so much else going on with the card. And we're going to fold our card in half. Now, we're going to take this piece of paper, and I wanted, if I put it on here, I've got so much less sky than I wanted. So I want a bit more. So I'm going to take a centimetre off. If I do it up here, you can see what I'm doing. A centimetre off this side, just so that I get a bit more into the centre of the card. And then I'm going to cut this at 10.5 because I want it to take up the whole page of the card. Oh, let's keep this bit. And I'm going to then cut this at just off the bottom at the same size as the card, 14.8. And I want this piece to be 14.8. And I also need a white piece for inside the card. So that white piece that I was playing with, we will make this one 10 centimetres, so that's half a centimetre smaller, and 14.3. So half a centimetre smaller than the card all the way around. So pop that out of the road. I don't think I need that again. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my wild wheat, and I stuck my finger in it. How often do you do that? I do it too often. And I'm going to just stamp, and I should have my mat, but I haven't, in the corner. But because they're rubber stamps, it's not the end of the world if you don't have a mat, because there's a little bit of give being rubber stamps. And that's the only piece of stamping I'm using ink for. So we'll pop this into here, like so. And then I'm going to pop this piece, and it's the same size as the card, so it's going to mimic the front of the card inside the card, so that when you open it, you'll have the front and inside. And I like this look because it sort of connects the two together. So we'll just get a bit of glue on that and pop this here. Now, I did say I was finished with the trimmer. I've just realised I haven't, because I'm going to show you a little trick on how I'm going to adhere my purse to the front of the card. When my purse is ready and it's finished, it will have a chain on it, like so. And I had a big think about it, because I didn't want this to be stuck down. I wanted this that they could take this off, and it's not quite sitting directly straight. Let's encourage it to be straight. I wanted it so that they could take this off and keep this. And it's not finished yet. We'll show you what we do after with that. So I thought, well, I need to do something so that it can come off without damaging it. So I came up with using the beautiful ribbon that comes with the suite, and we need a fair bit of it. I used quite a bit because I want to be able to make a good bow. But I didn't glue it on the front of the card. It took me a while to come up with an idea, and I feel it works. I want to cut 2 slits, and I worked out with this piece of paper, because I played with it before, I'm going to make them up above and below this tiny little blue. And so, now I just knocked things then. I use this end and I'm going to use it again because I know where I started in my practice. And that was at 27 here. And I went for a 1.5 centimetres. So I'm going to take this up to 27. And I just had it so that the line would be just above the card. And I started it at on this side at 11.5. So I set this up at 27 and I went through down to 25.5, 1.5 centimetres. Then I moved it up 1 centimetre to 10.5 on this side, and I did exactly the same thing. Oh, I keep moving it. So I got that set up and I did it up to 1.5 centimetres long. Now it's not perfect, they're slightly out, but I've realised when I had it all done, after fiddling for ages to get it perfect, no one could tell. So I then got my tear and tape. Well, actually, we'll get one side through first. I put this through. Because I want about halfway. And I got my tear and tape. And I did a bit of tear and taping because I want to reinforce this piece. I do not want it to be torn out when they are undoing the knot. So I put a big piece of tear and tape across. And then I brought this through on this side. Made it straight because I want it to sit flat. Now, it's not quite halfway, so let's get it back a bit. And then, to make extra sure that that's going to be strong and not tear, you find the end of your tear and tape again. And I didn't peel it off this time, I just left it across. And then on this side, to give it a bit more support, I put a small piece of tear and tape. That's too big. Just there, like so. Take those and get rid of them. I've got tear and tape all over my finger. And I tied a knot. Just once. So that this then stays there like so. And any of the tape that's hanging out, you can just push under with either your scissors or my fingernails. And that meant I was able then to attach my purse. So let's get this glued on. And pop it here. And again, it fits exactly over the front, so there's my beautiful card front. So we'll just give that a bit of weight for a minute. And while we're doing that, we're going to start more on the purse. Now I've lost my clip. There's this bit, where'd the other bit go? It's not there. It might be under here. Is it under that? No. I don't know what I did with it. Got that piece. I have that piece. I've lost a piece. We'll put that over there. We don't need that again. I've got one leaf too. I must have knocked some things underneath. Have I? No. I've knocked them off and I don't know where I've sent them flying to. Oh, I hate this when I do this. And I muck it all up on you. We haven't pushed them over here, have we? Not attached to the stamp, no. Not the ribbon. Didn't get into the card, did it? One leaf missing, one clasp missing. We'll just leave that for a bit more. Okay. That's not what I was going to do. I can't see it. Can you see it? Am I being blind? Is it sitting on the desk and I just can't see it? Yeah, it is a clever way to go. Look, I came up with that, Liz, because I spent ages trying to work out how I was going to do it. And it was the only thing I could come up with. Now, this is really interesting. I've lost a leaf and I've lost the clasp. And I can't see where I've put them. They weren't on that piece of paper, no. Oh, I do this quite often, don't I? I lose things. There's nothing under the mat. There's nothing attached to the mat underneath. Oh, don't tell me we have to cut them again. We might have to cut them again because I need that clasp now. No. Okay. Let's quickly cut some more and a leaf. Will I get that clasp in there? I don't want to really waste any more paper. Yeah, I will fit that one there and on the other side. Let's quickly get these cut. You know, once I've got them cut, we'll find it. Oh, they're not on the bottom of this, are they? I've had things stick to the bottom of my cut and emboss machine before. No, I can't see them. Okay, we can do this. We'll pop that one there, we'll pop that one there. We need that leaf. Where's that leaf gone? Now I've lost the leaf cutter, the die for the leaf. Oh, Ellie. Oh, we'll go without the leaf if we have to. Just looks better with the leaf. That one will fit there. You know, when I finish the purse, they'll show up. It's Murphy's, isn't it? I'm now looking for the leaf die. The other leaf might be in the leaf die, wherever the leaf die's gone. That's that one. Now, can I get this one in this little spot here? Let's get this out of the road again. We'll go with one leaf because I can't see the die. That's that die. Didn't leave it in the paper, did I? No, no, no. Okay, let's go again. Put that one up here. I've got my little tray and I should be using it, but I obviously didn't because that die isn't there. Hasn't fallen under anything. No, I can't see them. All right, let's get this back happening. A little bit of glue. Get these two stuck together quickly. They won't take long, actually. It's more when you're gluing gold on gold, which is what we're about to do. Says she who's trying to do them. Right, let's pop that with that for a minute. Clean up our mess again. They're not in here, no. Not in this one. No. Goodness knows where they've gone. And while that's drying for a minute, we'll do this piece. I want to write in gold, change can be beautiful. So I need to use some embossing. So don't forget to use your embossing buddy. Now, I find it particularly important for darker cardstock that you use the embossing buddy, because I find sometimes you get all these little tiny pieces of embossing powder stuck where you don't want them. Now, where did I? There it is. Let's get this. So I'm just stamping this on and it just fits beautifully on. Change can be beautiful, and I've done it sideways, but that doesn't matter. We're not going to worry about that today. And so you will see I've done it crooked. That's not too bad. All my embossing pieces. This embossing kit you can buy, and it is fantastic. Now, because this is a small piece, I'm using the tweezers. And we'll just... Now, I know that's a bit hard to see, but the powder is there. Now, I'm going to, and I like to flick because that helps get the excess powder off. I'm going to close this up. I'll clean this up after I finish my live. I just brush all that back into there. Put my embossing buddy over here. Bringing in my heat tool, and you'll see this, it's like magic. I love watching them appear. Now, you can put a bit of heat behind to start warming it up. And as if I lift it up higher, you'll see, as I'm doing this, the gold starts to appear like magic. So, can you see that? I'm not sure if you can see it or not. Oh, yes. Does get very, very hot. pop that aside. I'm just going to leave that to cool down and set. Now, it took me a while to work out this little purse and how to put the handle on. Your best option, I found, is we're going to put a little bit of glue just on here. Come on. And here. And I'm going to do it over to the side because it has to be weighed down for a little bit. I found that it takes a little while to stick. Now you could use fine tip. You could try using, it takes me a minute to get this into place because I found it doesn't want to stay and it sticks to me more than it sticks to itself. Let's see if I can get it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to grab a smaller block from up here. That's too small. And I'm going to put it on top. And then I'm going to pop that one. It's moved. There we go. And let that dry for a minute. Now, I have this one ready to go. And I have one I prepared earlier. So we're going to do gold onto here. Now this goes over this, you'll see when I compare the two, it sits over the stitch line. You can just see it on the edges a little bit. But that makes a lovely gold to using up the pieces in there, and I needed 2 large ones. And you'll see why I'm making 2 of the same thing in a minute. So we'll just let those dry like so. And I'll have another quick look for my dye, and I haven't got it from what I can see. I don't know where I put it. Must have gone flying somewhere. I'll have to have a hunt around later. But I am going to take out a couple of these leaves. Now, I've seen people colour these leaves, which I could do easily, but I wanted to bring in the gold colour because of the gold there. But I didn't want them perfectly flat. So I'm scrunching them into little balls. I'm going to scrunch this one into a little ball. Now, I will take my purse and I am going to glue. No, I'm not gluing that. This is the piece I need next. I'm going to glue this on here. But I found if I used these tabs, it was too thick to close. So I'm going to cut these tabs off. There's a lot of bits in this, but when it's finished, it looks good. But it is a bit of work. But you don't have to. You could just close this and glue it shut like this. And it doesn't have to open. But I wanted mine to open. If people know me, I like to do 3D things and muck around and see what I can come up with. And I thought these would make lovely little, you could put sayings inside that related to the person. So this is going on here, all the way around. So it's got to fit perfectly over the other one. And while that's drying, I will take this piece and stick it in here. That's a bit of glue under there. So we'll let that dry. We'll put some weight on this now. And just let all that dry. In fact, we might go like this. And this piece was going to have 2 leaves on both sides. I'm going to I'll use some tear and tape because it was easier. So I'll put the leaf on first this time, that leaf, and I'm going to put that leaf on. And look, because the card's a bit narrow, you don't want to go too wide. I don't want to go too wide. But then I'm going to put another piece of tear and tape there. And I'm going to take my scrunched up leaf that's now got a little bit of more definition to it. And I'm going to pop it on over the top. Now this is the top of the card, so I've got a fair bit of space at the top. And so that stays in place. I'm going to place that on it. And down the bottom was going to have, as I said, another leaf. We'll just use one. Oh, now this one, I don't have a lot of space at the bottom, so I'm only having a little bit hang out. And then I'll take my other material left. And it's going to go in here. And then I'm going to put some tear and tape so that when I glue that down, that'll stay in its place too. No, that didn't come off. Well, do it there. No, it's not going to come off. Didn't come off because I didn't do it big enough. It's easier if you start on the cardboard. There we go. Now, let's see how our purse is going. Let's get it folded in its right spot. So once you've got it exactly where it should be sitting, I just go over it with the bone folder again because it's got that inside frame now. And our little clasps will hold it down. Now the only place I found to glue this on, and it has moved a bit, but it might be all right, is on the back here. Actually, I might use, just for this time, some tear and tape so that we can finish up. Because I found, here it is, I found that you needed to let it sit for quite a while to dry. So I'm just going to pop, actually it probably would have been better to pop it onto here because we don't have a lot of room. And I don't know why, but the dies don't match up perfectly at the end. So one side must be just a fraction longer than the other. Now that's the front. So we're going to put our piece of tear and tape here. Doesn't need to be that long. And it doesn't need to be that wide. And we can use this piece on this side. No, it's going to stick. No, we've got it. So this is the fiddly bits used doing this chain, particularly when you're putting the clasp for the purse on with it. So make sure you've got nothing showing out. And then the clasp gets glued on there. And that's the best way I found to do it. So this is our purse done. And it's going to sit there. But when you take it off, you've only got a card with a bow. So I came up with this idea of matching what's inside the purse and putting some leaves on the back. And working out, it's upside down, exactly where that's going to sit, which would be about there, and putting this on. So that we had a card without the purse. All right, it's got a bow sitting in the middle of nowhere, but that's okay. So we've got a card without a purse. That's lovely. But when we undo and we put our purse on, and we tie a bow, says she, who not hates tying bows on camera, but it always seems to be the hardest to do. I can do them quite easily until I'm showing someone else. Oh no, this is going to work for me. And then we'll just trim those ends. And of course, we can't have a card without bling on it, so let's grab some bling. And I tossed and turned and wondered which colours I'm going to use, and I ended up, after playing around with a few different ones, choosing the yellow and the big ones. So I'm going to pop one here and one here and one down here. Just as if that was the piece that's not going to be removed. But if you removed that, you still had your gems. But of course, we need to put a gem on our purse as well. Let's shut our purse. So I put a little small one. just up here, like so. And so that is my card that I would give to someone. And you've got plenty of space in here to write. And when you undo it, you have a little purse that they could hang over their desk, or you put it somewhere with its little chain, and it's as beautiful on the back as it is on the front. And then they can open it. And this one says, change can be a beautiful thing, but you could have any piece of, any set of words that is meaningful to them inside. And they can close it up. If they want to put it back on the card, it's as simple as tying a bow. So that is my card today. And of course, when you've taken your purse off, you've still got a beautiful card. So that's my purse today and my card that carries the gift of the purse. So I'll swing you back to me. There's the back of my desk, isn't it a mess? There we go. Good to see you. Hello, we've got Bella behind us.
Hi.
Bella's been off at 10-pin bowling today, and she's going back this afternoon, aren't she, for a birthday party. And she's using one of the cards we made here. In fact, it's. Can you grab that board? She's using. We made some. If you remember, we made these cards. She's using this one here for her friend. So we use all the things we make, don't we, darling? Mm-hmm. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed. Liz has said hello to you, Bella. I hope you enjoyed joining me today and are inspired. This set, look, yes, the purse is fiddly. I will do at some stage another card. In fact, the card I'm going to do in class, I will be making this as a flat frame. It could go that way, depending which saying I use. We might use have a perfectly lovely day and put it this way on the front of a card. And it's much, much easier. You don't have to go to all this trouble. But if you're going to use it so that it's a purse that you can hand out and open up, which is what today's efforts were all about, then yes, it is a fiddly thing, but I think it's well worth it. But I will show you how to make it easy. And as you can see, you don't have to make a purse or even a frame. You can just use the inside bits to make beautiful, beautiful pieces on the front of your card. So have a lovely day. Enjoy the sunshine. Hope you, if you've got doing something for Father's Day, you enjoy it. We're on a train trip tomorrow.
Going to Maryborough.
Yes, we're off to Maryborough on the train tomorrow for lunch when we get there, and then the train home. So it'll be a wonderful day for us. So enjoy your day, and we will catch up with you next week. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.